In today's video, we're going over what profitable trading looks like step by step. By the end of this video, you're gonna be able to take this 9-step blueprint and apply it to your daily process to improve the trading decisions that you make. Hey traders, welcome back. For those of you that are new, my name is Austin Silver. I appreciate you being here. If you find value in today's video, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up. I think these 9 steps, this 9-point blueprint that we're gonna talk about is definitely gonna point you in the right direction on what you need to focus on to improve your trading. Now, this is inspired by Steve Burns. You guys know I do a lot of work with Steve. I learn a lot from Steve. We have a video together actually where he says that it was his best interview ever. I'll link that below so you can check that out, or I'll link it up here too. But this video in particular is inspired by an article that he wrote called Profitable Trading Step by Step. I want to take his 9 steps and elaborate on them and share my experience on them with you, just to give you a different perspective for you to see, hey, maybe I do need to improve on number 5 or number 6. Maybe I'm great in number 7, so I don't need to focus on that right now. What am I weak in so I can make better decisions? The goal for today is not to complicate things more than Steve has made them simple, because I think simple is good. But I think sharing experience from what I've done in my 5 years already of trading on top of Steve's is just gonna make you guys see it from a better perspective and hear it a different way. You know how it is. Sometimes I might say something, but then Joe might say something, and it might be the same thing, but because it's worded differently, you hear it better and it sticks with you better from Joe than it does from me. That's what we're gonna try to do here. So let's just get into it. The first one, it's do back tests and historical chart studies. Now, if you're in ASFX, in our community, you know that back testing for me is everything. We wouldn't have the A1, the D1, and the D2 without back testing. The back testing is the foundation that you can always fall back on when you're in a rut too. If you know that you're, just by your results, if you're stringing a couple losses together, you can kind of default back to the back testing and say, hey, look, yeah, these are losses. Am I following my rules? If I'm following my rules, these losses are going to turn around for me because the back testing shows that this pattern or this strategy, this edge, is profitable. The second thing, speaking of edge, is develop a trading strategy with an edge. Now this, again, it just goes with the back testing. So for us, it's based on technical patterns. We look to match that with fundamentals and across all time frames. But for the edge that I trade, where I'm making money, it's in technical patterns, which can be back tested. So you can see how 1 and 2 really do go together. Now, to take that back testing and that edge a little bit further, you have to define exact entry and exit parameters. This is tip number 3 for the profitable trading, right? Step by step. Number 1 was do back testing. Number 2 is develop the strategy with an edge. And number 3, part of that is you need exact entry and exit signals. To me, this is everything, because otherwise what you're gonna be doing is just feeling your way around the market. You need the exact entry, and when you see that signal, whether it's whatever you want to call it, we call it the A1, the D1, and the D2. When I see an A1, I know where my stop loss should go every time that A1 entry presents. Number 4, to this profitable trading step by step, is that you want to define position sizing. Steve says based on volatility and trading range. For me, volatility and the average daily trading range is definitely important, but there's more to it than that. I think that this is where you got to go back to really step number 2 and have your edge, which is the questions that you're going to ask yourself before you take any trade. A repeatable process that you can follow that you do well. That's your edge. And that's within a profitable system. So you need the back testing to prove a system or an idea profitable. Your edge is within the system. It's what you do well, the questions you ask yourself before you enter the trade, the parameters that you're looking to line up before you take the trade. That's the edge within the strategy. And now you're seeing how this all ties together, and it's proven with the back testing, okay? So you definitely need, number 4, the position sizing. For me, this comes into the grading system. Are you giving it an A setup on every trade that you take? Do you think every trade is equal? Because I don't. I think some trades are great setups, probabilities are great, some are not so great. And I still want to be in them because I can read risk reward, but I want to just be in them a little bit smaller. So you want to be able to grade your trades. I like to do A, B, and C. A gets more size than B, B gets more size than C, and C, I really try to avoid them if they have more than 3 things wrong with it that I don't like. That's my process. If you're in ASFX, you kind of already get that because in the courses we go over that. Tip number 6 on this profitable trading step by step is to cut losing trades short when a stop loss is triggered. Or, and I'm gonna add to this, if you can get out earlier or mitigate the risk, as it's not working for you, start to piece out of it so you don't get stopped with your full size. That's regressive risk. I think that's a great thing to do as well. Often I find that a lot of traders, not that it's a big problem, but it could be you, is that they move their stop loss. Like they think they need to be right so bad that they would rather lose more money on this trade than just get out and find a better price. They're looking at this like an ego game and more like, yeah, like a gambling video game, not, okay, this is a bad trade, let's find new risk reward. See, that's why like when you talk about trading, I do think trading is like a weird name for it because we're not really trading anything anymore. It's just so different now than it used to be. Especially like when you're trading Forex, it's just different. It's not like you're trading shares. So yeah, I think if you have this ego attached to it where you end up moving your stop loss, trying to be right more often than not, you're gonna end up digging yourself deeper into a hole rather than instead of saying, I'm not trading anything, I'm just looking for risk reward. You'd say, look, the risk reward here is now bad. It's not working for me. Get out of this, find another risk reward setup. So that's why I say like, I don't love that we're traders because I think we're just readers of risk reward. Anyway, little rant there. Tip number 7. So 6 was cutting short your losses when a stop loss is triggered or sooner if you can. You should know through your back testing what a winning trade looks like and what a losing trade looks like. So you should be able to cut out of them if you can. Number 7, let winning trades run until a trailing stop loss is triggered or a profit target is reached. Very simply, the way that I do this is I move my trade, my stop loss up as I reach R multiples. R multiples are easy to understand like this. If I'm risking 5 on a stop loss, 1R would be 5 pips of profit, 2R would be 10, 3R would be 15. It's multiples of your stop loss. If you have a 6 pip stop, 2R would be 12 pips. You got it, right? So when I'm in a trade, if I'm risking 6 and I'm up 18, my stop loss is now in profit up at least 6 pips. So if it does come down, I'm getting stopped on the remaining piece of my position because I'm also closing some as it reaches each R multiple. That's just how I do it. You can use support and resistance lines. I just don't like to do that because I think they're everywhere. I think average daily range is a great way to know when you should be taking some profit and locking some gains. So I think moving your stop loss up is the best way. I mean, I've talked about this all the time. It's the best way to trade. You're either going to get stopped in profit on all of your trades. You'll either cut them short when they're not winning, right? Like we just talked about in tip number 6, or you'll get your profit target hit and that's it. So you have to have a profit target in like based on the parameters in your system, somewhere to shoot for. That's how you read the risk reward. And then you have to be willing to take profits along the way. I'm listening to the Unknown Market Wizards, the new Jack Schwager book, and Jack Schwager, however you say his last name. And he talks about how some of these traders will, like for example, in chapter 1, Peter Brandt talks about popcorn trades that would go up for him, a couple R multiples, and then come all the way back down and he wouldn't get out at all. And he would get stopped or it would be a break even. He would leave a lot of profit out there. So that was the first thing. The second one, I think is chapter 4 or chapter 5. Diwali is the guy's last name. He talks about how if you're up, let's just say you have a 100 pip take profit, 50 pip stop loss, you're looking for 2 to 1. He's like, if you're up 80 pips looking for 100, why would you not be taking some profit off the table as it's moving closer and closer to your target? Because otherwise you're basically saying you're risking 100% of being wrong to just be 100% of being right. Even though you've been right all the way up there, that risk at that point doesn't make any sense. When you're so close to being at the target, you shouldn't be leaving all that risk on the table. I hope that you're following me here. Check out that book if you haven't already, Unknown Market Wizards. Let's get back to it. 2 more. Number 8 is you want to manage total risk exposure, which basically means you don't want to be spread between too many positions where you're risking too much of your account at one time. I'm a big believer that every trade should be seen as an individual trade and profits aren't realized until you close that trade. So you need to take risk, see risk, read risk, take that risk, see it through, close it, move on to the next trade. Take them individually. I don't like to spread my hands too thin. I'm not too big into like trading Euro USD and GBP NZD all at the same time. It's just not the way that I personally have found success. I'm a simple guy. The last one, trade the system with discipline and perseverance over the long run. So it's basically kind of tying in the other 8 steps. So let's just go through them together one more time. Number 1 is you want to do back testing. Number 2 is you want to have a trading strategy with an edge. And then number 3 is that edge has to define exact entry and exit parameters. And do what I do, name them, give the system a name. That way you know, oh, I'm looking for A1s here. What's my A1 checklist? What's the questions I need to ask myself before I take this entry signal? Call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. Tip number 4, have defined position sizing based on the grade, based on the quality of the trade. Number 5, take trading signal entries, which means stay on edge. Don't break that edge. I think we might have skipped that one. doesn't matter. It means stay on edge. Number 6 is cut losing trades short when the stop is triggered or on its way. Get out of the losing trades quickly if you can, and you should be able to identify when trades aren't working, like I said, based on the backtesting. Study the markups that you actually do. Show yourself, this is what winning trades do. It holds the 8 EMA, it puts the TDI here. This is what losing trades do. It breaks here, turns here. Look at this, all the losing markups we have show this. Then you can get out quicker. Number 7, let winning trades run until your profit is reached or until your stop loss in profit is triggered, a trailing stop is triggered. Number 8, make sure you're not spread too thin across multiple pairs. Really focus on the highest probability trades and just put the money in those, what you're doing best. And then number 9, follow that system, follow that edge, that process that we just detailed over and over and over again. There's gonna be months where you don't find a lot of trades. There's gonna be months where it's like raining trades. That's the market. You need to think through that and see through that for the long run. See the bigger picture. Don't get caught up in, oh, I can't find a trade today. Let me just break my edge and go trade this. You can't do that. One little cut like that turns into 50 and now your account is 10% down, 20% down, and you got to dig out. Don't be that guy. I was that guy. A lot of people watching this are that guy. Be different. Follow the system, stick to the system. Don't let your want to trade control your clicking. The clicks should follow this 9-step blueprint that we just laid out today. The emotions and all that stuff, put it on a demo account, put it somewhere else, but it has no business in trading. So I hope the 9 tips, the 9 step-by-step blueprint lays out some type of foundation, some type of context for you to build off of. Go back and think, which one of these 9 steps am I not doing enough of? Are you not backtesting enough? Do the trades that you're taking not have an edge? Do you not have exact entry and exit signals? Because I know a lot of you don't. Ask yourself these questions and address them. These are the 9 steps that have changed the game for me, changed the game for a lot of traders. Steve isn't just inventing this, like this comes from studying the best traders in the world. So again, not rocket science, don't reinvent the wheel. Stick to what other people are doing that works for them and you'll find the same success. I hope the video brings you guys some value. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, just give me a thumbs up. That's all I ask for. Let me know which of these 9 steps you're working on the most, and I'll see you in the next video.